Okay, I'm here for the episode of the Who Art Thou podcast. I'm with Gylt. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. It's an absolute pleasure having you all.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And we're going to start with the very basic question is how did this band come about?
That's a me question. Yeah. So Gylt started our first official show is June 2023. But that was with a completely different lineup than you see now. I started Gylt after me and our old guitar player Ian, who's an incredibly talented, amazing guy, in a bunch of other bands. Shout out Scimitar, they're great. We were trying to start a hardcore band called Sunset, and I was playing bass and it never really worked out. And then I saw this band called Guck, homies of mine, and they're just blew me out of the water. It's amazing. And I was talking to April, the front person, and I was just like, yeah, I'm trying to start this hardcore band. It's not really getting traction. I can't find a guitar player that works. And she just straight up told me, why don't you just do it? You go and do it. And I went, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And then I wrote 9 songs, really quick, got a band together, did one practice, hit up Ian and was like, hey, I need a second guitar. The songs are really they're not where I want them to be. And you and I work really well together. So why don't we just why don't you join? Sent him the early recordings, and then, and then we just started playing and our sound solo started to develop from there. Then our singer left after our second show. And then we got a new singer for a little bit. Our first singer, her name is Ada. She's in the band called Monoxia, Well of Human Kindness. Fantastic, amazing. She went to New York for a little bit. And then Mariel, who was the singer of Slaughterhouse, sang for us for a little bit. Then Ada came back and Mariel started playing bass, and our original bass player left. There have been a lot of members in this band. Okay. And it's only been 2 years. Our bass player started a band called Dog Smoke. They're amazing. So he left to pursue that. And then Mariel played bass. Our drummer was in too many bands. His name is Danny. He's in this band called The Reflectors and Tenement Rats, and just every single band I've ever heard of, he's in.
Seems to be an issue with drummers. They're never just in one band.
Art supply.
No, absolutely not. But now our drummer is only in Gylt. And so Thaddeus joined.
We're very lucky.
Yeah, Thaddeus is amazing.
Truly.
So a pleasure to work with. And then we got Iffy to join.
Yeah,
and that's
I auditioned.
Iffy auditioned.
I auditioned.
Yeah.
When you all talk about the audition, I think about that scene in Some Kind of Monster, the Metallica documentary, and it's just a line around the block.
There was 2 people. There's 2 people, and me and Ian were it has to be Iffy. Iffy, it just has to be Iffy. So then Iffy joined, and then we started playing more shows, and our sound developed a little more. And then Mariel had to leave to go be the front person of Slaughterhouse and tour, do that whole thing. And so she did that. And then we got Georgia to play bass.
Georgia Mac, baby.
Georgia Mac from Camp Cope and from Georgia Mac. Brilliant, amazing, so talented. I'm actually now in another hardcore band with her.
Sweet.
And then we played a bunch of shows, released that EP before Georgia. I think Mariel was still in it. She recorded that.
Yeah.
And then Georgia was just too busy, or just whatever things happened. And they got Harry, and then Ian left because they were too busy with all their bands, and so we got Cormac, and then now we're here. This lineup recorded our last EP, which, now we're here.
And can I ask you about the name? Because it's an old English word, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
There's something going around.
There's two meanings though. There's two meanings.
No, there's only one meaning. There's only one meaning.
One.
Well, because I saw the band's name on a zine or something was Get Your Life Together.
No,
Nope.
absolutely not.
That's a
Where's that
lie.
coming from
We
then? I've seen
squashed that
I've seen
here today.
Okay.
No, let's spin it to the, so our old, so we were joking around, right? We were trying to figure out
Right.
the name of our EP, and I was like, so I was like, what if we call it Tidal Wave of Brotherhood and Respect? Just like really like the dorkiest, like hardcore, like whatever.
I never heard that before. That's so funny.
So we're like shooting the shit, we're joking, and then we were like, what does Gylt stand like? Because I picked the name Gylt, and it's literally just the Old English spelling of guilt, because the proper spelling of it, or the spelling we use now, was taken by another hardcore band. But we're just joking around, and I went, what if it means get your life together? And our old guitar player kind of like ran with it and like just sent it to everyone.
Okay.
And now it's in a lot of early press.
Yeah, because I saw it a few times. The first time I saw it was in like a hardcore zine thing online. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's not what it means. It's, in fact, even in our first, like when I started the Instagram, it just said guilt, and then it had the definition, which was like Old English for like whatever.
I think it's like Old English for sin or something like that.
Crime, fault, death.
Yeah. It's a cool name. It's a cool word.
Thank you.
But so like, because I Commit a Holy Crime was released in June of 2025, and then you released this EP obviously last month. I was wondering, like, what was the like, did you get right into writing this right after that EP, or?
I Will Commit a Holy Crime actually came out a bit earlier. The official release on a label was in June 2025, but we had written it and played it for I think at least a year at that point. But we were going through DIY labels and cassette labels before we got on the Get Better Records roster. Because we wrote in a thousand agonies I will exist, or I exist, in June.
Okay.
We wrote it in June. Well, we finished it. We recorded it in June.
Yeah.
And what would you say? Because like, what would you say is the overarching theme for this EP?
I haven't really thought about it. I've thought about like what unifies the songs together, and obviously they're very emotionally driven. But me personally, when I write the lyrics, they're inspired by different events, different times, different thoughts that Mark and I discuss. Like, I think it would be from a song by song basis more so than an overarching theme.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, I mean, I feel like a big part of this, like, most of our like releases are just like about redemption and what it means to be kind of like a person. And like, it's a little existential in a lot of ways. Okay.
Yeah, there's kind of like a lot of, I don't know, there's like a lot of like faith references and God references on it. Is that like something in particular? Because I come from a very, very religious family, so those type of songs like Penitent really, they like strike a curve with me. So like, would that be kind of a kind of imagery that you draw on quite a bit for inspiration?
Absolutely, at least for me. I grew up Greek Orthodox, and it's still very, very important to me, and in a very personal way. I don't go to church, but the idea of looking to a higher power and what does redemption in God's eyes look like, and me myself as a flawed human participating and learning. What is that process like?
And with the EP, like what was the writing process like for this EP then? Like musically and lyrically. Just laughing already.
musically, like I wrote most of those songs with like the help of Ian for some of them, but mostly like my own. Like I don't know. We a lot of those are songs that I already had before.
Okay.
Like when we've been playing them for a minute. We did write 3 songs in studio because we were told to have 10 minutes worth of music.
Yeah, can we talk about this? We got to talk about
sorry.
this.
What? Go on.
We get to write 3 songs. It was, I don't know, whatever. Cormac, you
we had like a fistful of tracks that we had rehearsed, you know, extensively, and like we felt ready to put down. And at this point, we had promised the label a 10-minute EP. And sure enough, you know, we go into the studio and record what we have ready to go. And this was like, I feel like this was a seminal moment in my understanding of like how Gylt executes music, in that we laid down these songs, and it was like, what was it? We were 3 minutes short.
It was 7 minutes of music. Yeah.
7 minutes of music. And it was how many tracks? Like 5?
It was 4
or 5.
Yeah. We wrote 3 on the spot. So yeah.
Yeah. And so there were 3 that like, I think maybe 2 or 3 rehearsals beforehand Mark had brought to the table. And, you know, I was like, I was very fresh in the band at this point. I had just joined in January, February of 25. And so I was very much like in like the learning the songs process. And then all of a sudden it was in the studio, and it was like, all right, you know, those parts that you were trying to work out like 2 rehearsals ago, like we're gonna put them in wax right now. And and we did, and
and one of those was a single. One of those was
was Weeks.
Both of them were our singles. Yeah, weekend rot. We wrote those in the studio. Like we got them done almost in one take, and they kind of like overdubs and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. I wrote those lyrics in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. Not fun, I would imagine, having to, or like, does it work better when you're under pressure, or?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I think so. I think it's the best song on the album.
I remember being really impressed with Iffy, you writing that, because it's the studio that we were in. It was like kind of lofted, and so downstairs we were all recording the instrumental parts, and in the loft upstairs, Iffy was like curled up on the couch with like a notepad, and just like
a plate.
working at a plate. Yes, a paper plate, and just worked it right the fuck out.
You weren't there for the vocal recording parts, but where
I was not.
Like I feel like I was like trying to help compose. Like I was like, if you just start screaming it, and I'm just like using my hand, and it's like,
you were conductor mode.
Yeah,
full on conductor.
Who's he scream?
No. Is that helpful or distracting?
For me, I think it's helpful. I want it.
I just love
the more interesting, the better.
I was just wondering, by the way, because this EP feels kind of like sludgier than the last one. I was wondering, like, what inspirations went into the kind of the sonically for this EP.
Like I said, this one is more like me, kind of like by myself a little bit. I mean, except for like Week, which like felt like more of a big like collaborative effort. Everyone, like Cormac did amazing and everything, but like this is more like I kind of already figured out how I wanted Gylt to sound, and I wanted to lean into it a little more, right? A little sludgier, a little bit like crossovery. I don't know. I used to live with Cody from that band Drain.
Oh wow! So, okay, yeah.
So like I would like wake up and hear him playing guitar. And I was like, I'm heavily influenced by like the Santa Cruz hardcore scene, because that's where like I'm from, that area. particularly like Selena's hardcore. And so like I'm trying to lean more into that sound sonically. Just like a little more crossover, a little more like sludgy, a little more dynamic. Still trying to figure out our niche, I guess. But it's becoming more like, oh, this is like the Gylt sound. So it's a little sludgier. I'm still like the newer stuff we're working on. Maybe
it's way more collaborative.
Yeah, it's a little more collaborative, but it's also like I think we now know how to write a Gylt song, and so it's just like
sweet.
Kind of that's the noise.
What was the most difficult song on the EP to write? That can come
Probably
from both
30
perspectives, lyrics
song.
and music.
I'm looking at. I need to look at the songs.
Probably Repercussions. That was like 30 seconds of like, this is what we're doing. Just follow me.
The songs that we kind of like finished writing on the spot in the studio, I do remember like my experience of like getting those recorded and like getting all the parts finalized and everything. I look back on it as kind of like waking up covered in mud in like a gutter, and then there was a song a little bit for me. But
for me, lyrically, I think Choked Up was the hardest one for me to write. I couldn't until the inspiration chose me. You know, I was listening to a lot of Warthog, and who else? Mostly Warthog. And I like that they took. Band. Oh my God! Write it down. You'll love them. Really, really sick band.
I'll definitely check them out. What was your favorite song on the EP? Actually, just out of curiosity.
Mine was Rot, and I pushed really hard for that to be one of our singles. No one wanted that to be our single. None of that.
Do we all have different answers for this?
Or what's yours?
That's yours.
Intimidated.
Oh yeah. That was like one of the first songs I wrote for Gylt.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely feel like the execution in the studio, that recording, like, you know, we started working on that shortly after I joined the band, and then we recorded it in June, and then when we got the mixes back and everything, I was like, hearing it was like there was something extra. It was so much greater than the sum of its parts. I think for me, there was something pretty special captured there.
And if you for yourself?
My favorite song is Weak. Favorite, it's like my absolute favorite, and I can't believe we wrote that we finished that in like 10 minutes, because I was reading a lot of Berserk
nice.
at the time. And I'm like, even now, I'm not really far into Berserk, but that was like definitely in the forefront of my mind when I was writing the lyrics. And then to hear the output of that was really exciting. To like be proud of something that you've contributed to is like, it is, for me, it's a rare feeling.
Yeah, I have to say I love Berserk, so knowing that it goes into Week makes me very happy. I recommended it to somebody for Christmas. A friend of mine that I work with was like, her boyfriend really wants to read manga. Can you recommend any? I was like, well, I only read one. Which
you recommended Berserk?
And she was like, "Oh right, I'll get him that." And then afterwards, she was like, "You're a fucking psychopath."
I also have to say, just so it's all out there and the credit is given to where credit's due. I'm friends with a really cool artist. His name's Baker. He goes by Fuck You Baker online, and nice. During that time he was drawing these really motivational, really gory pieces, and the main character of those pieces was called Frog Knight. And that, and reading Berserk, that was these inspirations are kind of like what really created the song. If you like Berserk, you'd like Baker.
Okay, I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah, you
confirmed.
It
definitely
is
do.
one of those series, though. You're kind of like when you say you like it, people go, "Oh," because they know it for the one thing. It's like, no, it's actually like
Yeah.
a very multifaceted story. But then you sound like you're
It is,
defending
it
it
is.
when you do it as well. But actually, what I wanted to ask you as well is, speaking of artwork, the artwork for the EP is extremely striking. I
thank
was
you.
wondering, where did you get that image? Where's that image from?
Iffy, Iffy and I talked about it a lot. We were trying to figure out the right image. And I just kind of
Yeah.
like here's some inspiration that I like, and then Iffy like made it what it is and made it her own. She's incredibly talented.
Thank you, Mark.
Graphic designer, just artist, one of my favorite artists in general.
Oh, sick.
Oh.
Yeah, because I work as a graphic designer, and I used to do album covers for bands. So anytime I see one, I'm kind of like, I have to ask, because that one, it rules. I love that kind of old English kind of that type of drawings.
Me too.
Like the Albert Durer wood prints. I don't know if you've ever seen those. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Let me find you the original, because it didn't look like a wood print when I started.
It was that that like almost graphite looking one, right?
Okay, where's the one we used? Why is that so? Oh, here we go. This is up.
No, you
You can.
It looks
I see it,
a
I
lot
see
like
it.
the same. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Sick. Oh, you really changed that up a bit.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer by trade. That's
Oh,
my
right,
day
okay,
job. And I love using old art, but I have guilt, and I think just using something the way it is unfair, even if the artist is dead.
Is unfair.
I think it's unfair to just keep something the way it is.
Oh,
Like,
right.
it's-
Okay. Yeah.
It's like
if
instead
you're
of
gonna
making
use
it my own. Yeah.
Yeah. I work with a boss who's obsessed with using AI, and he has me as a designer. He's like, "Look what I made." And it's like, "Stop doing that. Let me make it. It's fine."
And I'll make
Drives me
it
up
better.
it drives me up the wall. He's like, "No, it looks good." It's like, "No, it doesn't." But what I really wanted to ask you as well is just because you're an actual American hardcore band. In Ireland, we seem to think that there's kind of like it's hardcore's having a bit of a moment. Not just talking about Turnstile, but just in general, there's just so many amazing hardcore bands coming out of the States at the moment. I was wondering what's your opinion on it being actually in the States?
Yeah. Do you want me to?
I'm looking at you, Mark, for sure. Mark, you're
Just
muted.
muted.
Mark, you're muted. I can't
This is
hear
actually
you.
a well thought out artist statement about the state of hardcore in America right now.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah,
You're
you
back.
are.
Right.
Okay. I mean, hardcore is like one of those, like, it's always been around. It's always been cool. I think it's just part of like the zeitgeist right now. It's been like very popular. I think politically it's very like aggressive music, and where we're at in the States right now is kind of like a very politically charged time. And I think it speaks to a lot of people. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of anger. People want to like react to
Express.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also like all the bands that are big are like incredibly talented people, like they're killing it.
Yeah, I think like a lot of it is the message people can get on board with quite a bit as well. At least over in Ireland, we're kind of like, yes, we agree with everything that band's saying. But it's kind of crazy. Like what's going on here is kind of crazy, because I have had friends of mine who listen to metal, I listen to metal, and they've always gone, no, I'm not getting into that. But they'll happily go to Outbreak Festival, which is some of the hardest bands and perform. You have to sign a waiver to go to that festival. So that like people are really, really, really getting into it over here, and we have a few amazing hardcore bands as well that are starting up, like Frayed Ends, Bitter Pill, and all these kind of ones. And purely DIY scene as well. It's great to see, really, really great to see. Because I've been listening to hardcore for years. Trash Talk, I think, was the first major band that I got into.
Oh yeah.
Trash Talk's sick. They just played the Silver Lake Lounge recently, didn't they? They've played like that weird spot in like
Did
Sunset.
they?
Yeah, they played those like
yeah.
third. Yeah.
I've never seen them, and the last time they played Ireland was about 15 years ago, I think. And it was just they played a tiny, tiny box room. And it was meant to be absolutely incredible. But they're playing in the UK in the summer, and I'll finally get to go see them. Been dying to see them for years. I'm just happy they're still going.
Yeah, me too.
Because they have no social media presence or anything. They're just and then they just pop up and you're like, all right, okay, cool, I'll go watch them. But guys, just for what I normally do towards the tail end of the podcast is basically because I don't want to keep you like all night. As I said, it's 2 a.m. Just I normally ask kind of more kind of general questions. So one of them would be like what I always ask is, what was the first and last album you ever bought? And if you don't buy music, it's an album that you've recently discovered that you loved. I don't know who wants to go first.
For me, I think the first album I got my dad to buy for me was the Yeah Yeah Yeahs Fever to Tell. And then
Class.
The first album I bought for myself without him knowing was Mesmerized by System of a Down.
Class.
So sick. Hell yeah.
Like my parents can't know I listened to this, and they had a parental advisory sticker on the thing, and the guy still sold it to me, so that's on him.
Nice.
And then the last album that really spoke to me, I think it's my friend Justice's band Halloween. And they have an album called Shadow House.
Class.
And
I'll check it out.
it sometimes it's hard to listen to your friend's music because you're like, what if it sucks? But
I experienced that plenty. You don't want to say it. You're like, I don't like this.
I'm a very honest person, and I won't tell you outright it sucks, but I will infer it somehow. You know? But no, I really love it across the board. It's an album that really spoke to me.
I'll have to check it out. It's Halloween, is it?
It's just called Halloween. It came out last August. It's very spooky. I like really spooky sounding music.
You're giving me flashbacks, by the way, with the Mesmerized thing, because for Christmas, I have a very conservative father, and for Christmas one year, I got the first System of a Down album on CD. And he was like, what the hell is, because my mum got it. He was like, what the hell is this? And he started reading the lyrics. He's like, the kombucha mushroom people. And he goes, he's like, whatever, I don't know what this is.
It was a good fail safe to start out with on that record. Just sort of like, filter out. They won't read past that. It's good.
Oh no, he used to like he used to come up to my room and take the CDs out of the CD player and go down the stairs, and I'd never see them again. And then a week later, I'd go to the secondhand store and just buy the album again. And he was like, "How'd you get this back?" He doesn't. He's accepted who I am now. But for when you're when you're 11 or 12, listening to some stuff that he didn't like, he was like, "Oh, how did you get into this?" Actually, one of the he was like, "Why are you into such angry music?" I was like, "You used to blare Stiff Little Fingers in the car every morning," which was which is an Irish punk band. I was like, where did you think it came from? But sorry, Mark or Cormac, do you have an answer for the albums?
I do, yeah. I'm grateful that Iffy made the distinction between the first album that you had your parents buy you and the first one that you bought yourself, because I think the triangulation of the three total is really good. The first one that I had my parents buy me was Backstreet Boys Millennium.
Class. Amazing.
It's still great. Max Martin, hitmaker. The first album that I bought myself, and it's funny because I was referencing this when we were actually working out my guitar parts for Week specifically. But the first album I bought myself was one of AFI's older records, Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes. And I remember seeing, like, this was during like their Sing the Sorrow era, and I saw them on like Fuse, MTV, and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy that, not knowing that at one point they were this like East Bay hardcore band.
A
And
hardcore band as well.
totally, yeah. And so that record was kind of like my introduction. And I was like, at first I was so disappointed because I was like, this is nothing like the glam goth shit that I'm seeing on TV. But it was it kind of had Stockholm syndrome over me. It was great. And now I love and cherish that record. And
oh, sorry, go on.
no, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, like, I dated a girl who's obsessed with AFI, and she put that on one day, and I remember just being like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, that's AFI. I was like, that's unbelievable how much they changed.
It is spectacular, especially now, like revisiting even their newest stuff that I've missed out on for the past like 7 or so years. Like the span of their career is bananas, but the early stuff is really got its teeth deep in me for sure. And then the last record that I bought, or I tried to buy, was there's this band Vulture Feather from Northern California that played a show with recently, and I tried to buy their new EP because it's absolutely gorgeous. But they refused to take my money, and so they gave it to me. But I still want that to count. So
Still counts.
Vulture
Yeah,
Feather
still
is
counts.
gorgeous stuff. Former members of this band Wilderness from Baltimore, and they're fantastic. I grew up with them in my teenage years, and the Vulture Feather stuff is just as good, if not better.
Fantastic. Okay, there's a lot of new bands going on that list after this podcast. And Mark, for yourself?
The first like album I bought was probably like the Penguins' greatest hits, like Earth Angel type shit. Really into Motown when I was like a lot younger. When I was like a boy. I grew up listening only to like Motown. Last album I bought, I think it was in Oakland on our last tour. I think was working with Miles Davis Quintet, which is rad and fun. And I also think I bought the Molly Horses single on Bandcamp. Cormac's other band, Molly Horses,
cool.
Amazing. Really, just
Really
Cormac's
sick.
incredibly talented. Like, honestly, he's so much better at guitar than I am, and I need to like just
Stop.
And then Agriculture, Spiritual Sound. My boys Dan and Leia. Like I've known Dan for a while. And Leia's great. Like they're all amazing, talented people. We played a show with them, I think maybe last year. I think that's
we did.
I just bought Spiritual Sound, just on Bandcamp.
They played here about 3 or 4 months ago, and they were absolutely fantastic. They brought this Ukrainian black metal band with them called Matushka, I think, that were also brilliant. But it was very funny during the show. The friend of mine that goes with me to this show, his name's Dexter. He's in a black metal band himself, but he's very loud. He has no indoor voice. So as we're watching the show, all I can hear is, "Isn't this amazing?" And I was just like, "Dexter, shut the fuck up." And this woman came up to me who was half my size and just starts waving her finger in my face going, go to the back or go to the bathroom and shut the fuck up. And I was like, I'm just getting cussed out at the very front of the stage while watching Agriculture.
Oh man, and
then he was beside me and goes, "Can you believe she did that?" I was like, "Yes, you're louder than the band." But yeah, amazing Agriculture, absolutely a wonderful band. I just love that style of metal that they're playing.
Oh yeah, so I was at their first show. It was insane. Yeah, so good.
Joyous, what?
just joyous black metal. You know, it's I think that was like the thing that really hooked me with them too. Is like
the spiritual black metal,
spiritual, joyous, jubilant black metal. It's like a beautiful document.
Gray metal.
They're great.
Gray
metal, if you will. Yeah.
Nope.
Because I don't really do the corpse paint stuff anymore. When I was an edgy teenager, I quite liked it, but I prefer the kind of Agriculture, Liturgy. I think are amazing, and then obviously Death Heaven, the kind of main ones of that scene at the moment.
I grew up with those guys.
Did you?
Yeah, I just did some art for their last album.
Oh, sorry, which one?
The one that just came out. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, sorry. No, which which band? I mentioned
Death
3.
Heaven, right?
Death Heaven.
Oh, Death Heaven.
Oh,
Death
wow.
Heaven.
Okay. I have a Death Heaven tattoo on my leg. I'm a very big fan of them.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Very,
Sick,
very
sick.
big fan. Would you have known them when they were doing the grindcore band then?
No, I was it was kids when I was like when I was 19. So
Oh, right.
they
Okay.
were doing Death Heaven at that point.
Wow. Amazing. I'm absolutely obsessed with that band.
I'd say they're cool people.
Good
They're
to know.
nice.
I've
They're
heard they're
very
very,
nice.
very nice. Yes. Well, I'm going to ask you one last question before we finish up here. What is a band that you think that somebody should check out from Ireland who likes hardcore? That doesn't have to be a massive band, by the way. It could be somebody in your local scene that you're like, these guys rule.
I'm going through my likes right now.
There's
Yeah,
so many.
I know.
My likes
Too many for me to like
to
shout
access
out.
my
All
Rolodex.
scrambling.
I love the homies, so it's just like I want to talk about every single band that I'm just like, yeah, they're great.
Okay, well, you don't have to narrow it down to one then, if you want to mention a few.
I remember one of the first bands that we played with since I joined the band that I was like, I was an antenna to what they were transmitting was this band Quiet Fear.
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah.
Quiet Fear is incredible and unbelievable performers. All the recordings are amazing, but the show was unreal. Yeah, they're great.
I have to check them out. Mark or Iffy?
Let me see bands that are En La Muerte is dope. They're like Highland Park hardcore, like great, incredibly talented kids. Exacto, Nut, Guck. Like I said, Guck is the whole reason Gylt exists in the first place. And they're not hardcore. They're just like noisy punk. They're so good. Yeah, without them, this band wouldn't exist. I don't know. Probably like Gardens from Salinas. If you know them.
Gardens, yes.
Gardens is huge. Yeah,
They're more,
that
I
was
don't think
like
they're an active
Gardens
band anymore, but they're like I like grew up with a lot of those guys. They're really, really good.
That's Gardens now and not The Gardens.
No,
Or
it's
The
Gardens.
Gardens.
It's
Okay,
Gardens.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you can find their stuff on Spotify. But yeah, you can. They're really talented.
It was essential assigned listening for me when I first joined was a lot of Gardens. Sure.
I think everyone should listen. I second Gardens, by the way. I love listening to Gardens. I think everyone should give Curtain Wall a chance. Do you know Curtain Wall?
Yeah,
I do not know.
They're very silly medieval black metal.
Okay. Nice.
Very, very silly medieval black metal, and one of my favorites. And then I should talk about one of the homies. I'm
Franks.
just having a massive brain fart. Huh?
Franks.
Franks is wonderful. We're playing a show with them soon. No, but there's somebody I wanted to say. I think everyone should give Gwar a chance.
Gwar. Gwar rule.
All we are saying
Give
is give
Gwar
Gwar
a chance.
Give Gwar a chance.
I say that because I thought Gwar was stupid for a really long time, and then I realized that I was stupid for thinking that, and now they're like in my daily rotation. I watched the documentary about Gwar, and it made me cry thrice. I cry a lot, but
I had no idea there was a Gwar documentary.
it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
I find the word beautiful and Gwar to be a surprise, but I'll have to give it a watch.
I think when people are working from a place of, I think it's important for people to have interests, right? And to like explore those interests. And then Gwar is like the definition of what that is. For me, like people who indulge in things that fascinate me are Terry Mugler, the designer, and Gwar.
Fantastic.
Like the fashion designer and Gwar. Yeah.
No, I'll probably be watching that tonight then. I had no idea it even existed, a Gwar documentary. That sounds awesome.
Prepare to cry.
Okay. I have a box of tissues. I'm a crier as well, by the way. every year for Christmas, me and my dad watch It's a Wonderful Life, and I've never finished it without being in floods of tears at the end. And my dad straight away will go in and goes, Barra cried again at It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, you fucking cried as well.
Barra, can I ask you?
Go on.
I have to ask you because I'm a girl. What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, sick. I'm a Cancer. We're neighbors. We'll cry next door to each other.
Sounds lovely. So, guys, that's the end of the podcast. But obviously, this is the part that every band loves doing, which is the little PR bit. So, I know you have a few shows coming up. If you wanna say where those are.
Where are our shows?
Mark, take it away.
I don't. Yeah. Let me see.
We have a calendar. We have a Google Calendar for this.
Oh yeah. Oh, March 20th with Thing, like fucking insane non plus ultra. That's gonna be rad. It's a secret DIY show.
Sick.
Our vinyl release show is about to get announced March 29th.
And,
Gold Diggers.
And we might be going on tour.
Yeah, we might be going on tour soon. Working on that. Oh, we have too many. There's so many. February 15th, Slutty Valentine Fest. There's a bunch of great bands on that. That's in LA.
Mm-hmm.
February 22nd at the Lodge Room in Los Angeles. That's a benefit show for Non Plus Ultra, which is an amazing DIY warehouse venue that a lot of us
play there a lot.
Yeah, we're big fans. They helped us get our start. Those March shows. Oh, March 6th with Frank's Fusion Babies.
At 5-Star Bar in Los Angeles, unfortunately.
Yeah, Los Angeles. And then we're doing a West Coast thing soon that we will announce.
Awesome.
And when we figure that out, and hopefully we'll just keep touring a lot this year coming up.
Amazing.
Yeah. We'd love to come to Ireland specifically.
Oh,
I would.
I'd have a great time. There's a couple of really cool venues that you'd be able to play here as well that are quite awesome. You're playing with Dry Socket, who are going to be here soon. It's a show that I'm putting on, which I can't wait.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Can't actually include that on the podcast because that hasn't been announced yet, but they are coming here.
You're bleeping it out. You're bleeping it out.
Yeah,
they're supposed to play a show with them
Spaced.
recently. Couldn't make it, but they're great.
Well, guys, again, just thank you so much for coming on the podcast. As I said before we started recording, I've loved the EP. The second I listened to it, I was like, this is right up my alley. It's definitely going to be in my favorite releases of the year for sure. I just can't stop listening to it. So it's a real pleasure to have you on. I was delighted when you said you'd come on. So I just want to thank you all once again for coming on the podcast and having a great chat with me.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Thanks, Barra.